Hey everyone, Charles here, and first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, how you doing? Charles here. And before we get started, I just want to thank my new sponsor, Alitu. Alitu is a great program for podcasters. It took my editing from an hour down to minutes. It helps you with voiceovers, editing, putting in commercials. So it helps me to help you to make me sound better. So I just want to thank Alitu for jumping on board for being our sponsor. Hey, and they trust me so much, they're giving me a code that I can give to you, my fans, my listeners. Go to Alitu and put in the key code name JUMP. That's JUMP, J-U-M-P, and get a discount for you to try Alitu for yourself. I know it helped me, and it will help you too. Thank you to Alitu.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
I'm ready.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Charles here from Jump Podcast, and we have another show, so I'm so happy you could be here. And I have a special guest on the line, and she's doing something interesting and something new and something different. So I'm just going to bring her right on. Nancy.
Hi, Charles. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How you been?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
All right. So before we get started, I say the same thing every show. I want to get to know you. So tell the fans and people listening a little bit about you. Where are you from? What's your background? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Nancy. I'm originally from Cameroon, so I speak English and French. I came to Canada 4 years ago. By profession, I'm a financial analyst, but I am passionate about reading books. That's the summary of me.
So what do you do on your pastime while you're here?
So during my pastime, I love books. I love reading. I always have a book with me. I also love dancing. I like a lot of dancing, and I love movies. I actually think I'm a movie addict or something. I love movies, and I also love to cook.
Okay, so before we go on, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Armageddon with Bruce Willis.
Okay, you like action.
Yeah, I like action.
Okay, and if we're all coming over to your house for Christmas dinner, what are you cooking us?
I'm gonna cook you roasted fish, which is a specialty from Cameroon. We have a way of doing it that it's unique only to Cameroon, even in Africa. So I'm gonna do like roasted fish and fried plantains.
Oh, okay. The fried plantain got me right away. Right away. That's my favorite. And then what book are you reading right now?
What book am I reading right now? The book I'm reading right now is called My Sister, the Serial Killer. It's written by a Nigerian author.
Oh, okay. So let's dive into it because you're really passionate about books, and then you start to do a project of your own, right? So tell us a little bit about the project.
So my project was inspired by two things. First of all, I have a niece who is born in the US, and I always used to tell her like home stories from back home. And one day she's like, Auntie, is it possible to have those in books? Because it's not every time I can tell her, right? Like she wanted to have a time of her own to read them. So I started checking if I could see some books here in the library. I just noticed I couldn't find them. I checked for some mainstream, like Indigo. I couldn't find them. And then at that time, I was also doing a project, an entrepreneurship course at Ryerson, and we had to do a pitch. And I was like, what can I do that will match my passions. And I thought, but African books, I don't see them. After the research I didn't see them, and that's how the idea was born.
So you're saying books on what? The culture, the food, entertainment. What are you looking for? Like pinpoint the books that you're really looking for.
Okay. So in general, we have the importance of the African narrative without narrowing it down to anything. It could be the folklore from back in the days before slavery, because most times people assume our African story started from slavery. We're doing amazing things way before slavery, which even we Africans are not even aware of. So it's either the history before, the history after. It could be what's happening now, contemporary Africa. It could be fantasy. It could be romance. I hardly see love books from Africa. I'm like, is it that we don't fall in love? Meanwhile, we have like our own love. It's about family, the values. And recently, there's been this growing diaspora love for people to want to know more about the culture, the continent, and to see where we intersect like our similarities and then celebrate our differences. So that's the framework from which I came from.
So what did you want to share to your niece? Like she's saying, Auntie, can you put in a book? What were you telling her? Like old stories? Were you telling her things when you were younger and different things from back home? What were you actually telling her?
It was a combination of both. So there were some stories my mom used to tell me back in the day, and some of it was my stories from back home. So for example, back home, you go to the village to go visit my grandma. At times back then, there wasn't even light. So in the evenings, we were forced to sit around the fireside. Grandma will cook food, and then she will tell you guys all these stories. Some of them will be scary. And then you're there with your cousins, and this life is different from what is here. Here, everybody is just in their house. It's a bit kind of individualistic. And so for her, it was a way to know a little bit about herself and own it also. And another thing was back in school, some students will taunt you, maybe about your hair, or maybe you speak differently or something. And for me, it was a way for her to assert herself, to own her identity and believe in who she is, know her roots, and be proud of it.
So it was all about finding your roots from just sitting around a campfire, telling jokes, telling stories, and you got knowledge and wisdom from just those campfire stories.
Exactly. And another thing we got to learn was proverbs, African proverbs, which I think over time is dwindling. But back in the day, it was a beautiful way of showing your knowledge of the culture. So at some point, it was like a competition to know who knew more African proverbs, because that was the way in which the elders communicated with the community.
All right. So if it was a competition, what did you do? Were you first, second, or third?
I was second. I was second. I had older cousins who were like into the whole thing, and they were like, "Hey kid, you can't come here." And so for me, it was like a challenge. I would like find time to read extra or know more proverbs, and we even had movies, some of the movies that came from either Cameroon or from Nigeria, where they will have all these beautiful proverbs, and we'll try to decode them, like what does that mean and stuff like that. Yeah.
So how do you cherish those stories from your grandmother? Like, what do they mean to you? Do you use them now in your everyday life?
Oh, I use them now so much in my everyday life. Like, for example, when they say in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. Actually, it takes a village to raise a child, because even though I'm here, I still have my aunts, uncles, even my teachers who ask after me, how are you doing? How is work? And even then, you as a kid, because you were raised by a village, even when you're working and you're thinking of your family, you don't just think of yourself. You equally think of your aunts, your uncles, and your young cousins, how you can inspire them. So I think it fosters a positive environment where the older people are inspiring the young, and the young are also thinking how to give back to the older people and inspire the younger people below them.
So here it is. And we talked about it before on another show. Do you think that because of technology and Facebook and Twitter and texting each other, the younger generation is losing that whole feel of culture?
It goes both ways. It goes both ways. There are some who are losing the feel of culture and they are focusing on other things. Like they'll rather be playing a video game as opposed to writing. Kids now, there are some kids who don't even know how to write, how to spell. Those are some of the side effects of technology and social media. But then again, it's also opened doors for the African diaspora to connect more on a more global level. So you have people from, let's say, the motherland connecting now with the African Americans, with the Caribbeans. Now people can watch movies. We used to watch African American movies now they are curious to watch our movies. I know the Caribbeans watch a lot of movies from Nigeria or from the continent. So you have articles that are being written. There's also that curiosity, like we had the Black Panther and all whatnot. So it's both sides. Some people are using it not to communicate, but other people are actually using it as a stepping stone to build bridges within the Black community and even the greater multicultural world at a higher level.
So you're saying to embrace the social media, because now with social media, you can actually see what's going on back in your homeland. You can actually, people can post events and people can see events and share events to promote what's going on back home. Exactly.
So it depends. Social media is a tool. It depends on how you want to use it. And I can tell you the advantages are more than the disadvantages, because now, like if I'm curious, if I want to go to Jamaica, I have Jamaican friends, they will tell me things. I can research. There are people now, you have like the African wear, people now wear their African wear. People are curious, oh, I want to watch an African movie. Which movie do you recommend? You will do that. And people are just more inquisitive. Like if they want to travel, want to go to Ghana or stuff, you're like, okay, go to this person's blog on maybe Instagram or Twitter and see what they are doing. It will give you like an idea of what's happening there. So there's a lot of information out there. It's just for those who want to access it.
Okay, so then let's get back to the book now. So you saw that you were trying to find some books. You see that technology is there, but the actual writing itself is not there. You're trying to teach your niece stuff that you learned from when you were younger, the culture and stuff like that. So what did you end up doing?
So what I ended up doing is, the plan is to promote African authors, the ones that are already existing. I will eventually write, but I was like, let me use what is already there, so that because if I have to start writing, it may take a little bit longer. But we already have thousands and millions of African books that are already existing. So the plan is to have a platform where all these books are there, not just for my niece, but for the bigger African diaspora and multicultural readers, where they can go to this platform, because some of the books are scattered. Some people don't even know where to find them or how to categorize them. So the plan is to create a platform and make these books accessible. If people want to buy them on demand, they can do it. If those people want to buy it Audible, or if they want to do the ebooks, they will have the option to do that. But it's just to have like a one-stop shop where they can look at these books and have different genres of African books. And I wanted to actually celebrate African authors, because we do have a few African books in the library, but they are not by African authors. So for me, I thought that the African narrative was kind of missing. So it's really to promote African stories by African authors.
So you're basically like being a vessel to help other people find these key books. They're out there, but a lot of people can't find them. So what you want to do is help them find them and locate them.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to do.
Okay. So then what have you found so far? Like, is there some key books and some locations that you found that you're like, wow, okay, I didn't even know these books were here. And how did you find them?
Yeah, I've been researching and I've been coming across some books that I didn't even know. We have a lot of young contemporary African writers who are really writing some amazing books. There's one even for my country, Mbole Boe, who wrote a book, Behold the Dreamers, which was on Oprah's Readers Club a year or two ago, and is going to be made into a movie. We have one by a Nigerian lady called Children of Blood and Bone. We are actually looking forward to book 2. It's a trilogy. So that too, the film rights have been bought. So you have a sort of growing emerging authors which are coming into mainstream and streamline, which people are not even aware of. I am aware of them because I read books, so I try to keep up to date. So I want to shed light on the old and on the new, just to create like an ecosystem and to get the youths, those who are trying not to read, to let them know that, see, we have these beautiful books out here. Try to plug into the culture and just try to create a community around it. That community that we had back home of people coming together to sit and listen to the stories. It might not be as wide, but we can create those little communities where we can read the stories and we can ask questions just so that our traditional values don't fade away.
And I think that's the key thing, that that at the end of the day, you want the new culture to recognize what the old culture started and what they've done for you to lead you up to this point.
Exactly. I really want the transition. No, history is handed down. The wisdom is handed down. So I want the transition from that old wisdom, for us to draw both from the old wisdom and from the new wisdom, and for us to appreciate how far we have come. Because at times, we Black people, we need to appreciate how far we have done a lot, and I think it's for us to push the great things we have done ahead of us. Nobody is not going to do it. So for me, it's like it shows me, and it's like it's my mission or my goal to bring these literary works to the forefront, because even the literary diversity in North America, we don't have many Black authors. I'm not even talking African. Even Black authors is difficult. So for me, I'm like, okay, let me pick a niche that I think I understand and I can bring to the forefront. And hopefully in the future, we'll have more of these literary books in our cultural centers, in our schools, and just inspire a whole lot of people, even if they're not Blacks, who just want to know more about Africa and its values and history.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about, if you were going to write the book and you're ready to write your book, what your book would be all about. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have an idea for a fabulous event but just don't know how to get started? Call Charles Matthews from CMJ Entertainment. He will sit down with you and give you key strategies and all the steps you need to know while setting your budget on the right track. Over the years, he's helped small and big businesses reach their goals on many events throughout the city. He specializes in charities, corporate and special events, and if you ask him, he will tell you his hands have been in a lot of the great events we have had in the city of Toronto. Give him a call at 416-414-8964 or read some information about what he can do at cmjentertainment.com. Don't waste time. Someone else is thinking of the same idea now. Spend the money now to save thousands later.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Hey guys, we're back with my special guest, Nancy. I think Nancy was, she ran off to go watch a movie or read her special book or so. Oh, there she is.
I'm right there.
Yeah, I know. So in the beginning, Nancy told us about her favorite books. She told us about her favorite movies and what the special fish. It's a traditional. Which was it?
It's roasted fish. It's actually grilled fish. It's just that the spices, as how Jamaicans have jerk spice unique to them, we have the spices that we use on this fish is only found in Cameroon. So you need a connection to have access to that fish.
So because I'm giving you this interview, I need to get some fish, right?
We'll see how we can arrange that.
All right. Before the break, we asked you to let us know if you're going to write a book and this book was to help others, what would your book about?
My book, oh my God, I have a lot of ideas. Honestly, I have a lot of ideas. I would love to write something especially about contemporary Africa, especially in the tech space, because there's a lot of tech happening back home that the world is not capturing. Some people are seeing it, but it's not really brought to the limelight. It's not what you see maybe in mainstream media. So I just want to capture, there's the stereotype or a certain mindset that people have of Africa. And I want to let them know the Africa that you knew like 10, 20 years ago is not the Africa you know now. We are advancing and doing so many things. And I want to capture the positive elements of Africa. Initially, when people thought of Africa, it was slavery, diseases, poverty, and all whatnot. But that is changing. I'm not saying it's perfect, but even there's poverty everywhere. In the US, here in Canada, I see that. But because of their branding, they don't talk about it. So my aim is to highlight the positive things of Africa, whether it's the culture, whether it's the technology, whether it's the fashion, whether it's the what can I say, the music. We have the Afro beats that everybody is plugging into. So it's just to pull the positive elements from the continent and showcase it to the world. Those will be the various things I'll take into consideration when writing my books.
So, like, for example, we know about the Afro beats because it's, I think between the Afro beats and the reggae music, putting that together, that that's the best kind of music you can hear right now. Like, it just emerges, it comes together. So I love the Afro beats. And then when it comes to the clothing, now that you're noticing, everybody is kind of taking a part of the African culture, the design, the headpieces, the colors. It's infused into a lot of our clothing.
Exactly. Everybody's trying to get in. And at times people take from Africa and they don't give credit where it's due. You watch movies where you can actually see the African inspiration, but nobody mentions it. You see big stores, maybe like, I don't know if I should call names, that are taking their inspiration from Africa, but at times they don't say it. And at times the benefit doesn't trickle down back to the people who are coming up with all these ideas. So for me, if people knowing that these things are from Africa helps to validate even the people like, oh, we can do this, or we did this, and the world is appreciating it.
Okay, so give us one note that's something that's different. Like if you say to everybody, hey, did you know back home right now we do A, B, and C, what would that be?
Right, but let me see. Okay, back home in Africa, I would say two things. So we have this technologists who created a phone. Everything was assembled in Rwanda. And that phone, I think, came out 2 or 3 months ago. So everything was built, assembled. So it's not like the parts came in. Everything was done in Africa.
So you guys have your own branded cultural phone that you guys made and designed yourself.
Yes, so the person who did it was intentional about having a phone made in Africa. So it's from Rwanda specifically. Another thing I would like to talk about is Ethiopia Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines goes to more than 100 countries. They have more than 89 airlines. Ethiopia is a country that back in the day, it was the poorest country. Like when I was growing up, Ethiopia, like people attributed Ethiopia and poverty. But now Ethiopia is among the top 10 emerging countries. Their airlines, their customer service is compared to some of the airlines that I travel here. I travel to the US quite a bit, and I can tell you the customer service and the planes we have for Ethiopia Airlines are second to none. Ethiopia Airlines did a trip from Ethiopia to, I think it was India, an all-female crew, from the captain to the cabin crew, to the technicians, to the check-in crew. Everything on the value chain was done by females, which I thought was commendable. I didn't see it anywhere. I didn't see it on CNN. I didn't see it on BBC. But yes, we did that, and those are some of the things that we are hoping to celebrate. A third person who did something was a guy from Cameroon who did something for a cardiovascular pad, which helped to determine heart attack rates before they happened. He did awards for it, but at times it just stays at the low scale, or some mega or big company will buy it and maybe scale it because at times we don't have the finance. But yeah, these are some of the ones that I would love to celebrate for now.
Okay, so before we go, I just bought a ticket. I'm going to Cameroon. Where do I go?
Where do you go? That's a difficult question because Cameroon, my parents are originally from Bamenda. That's the English speaking side of Cameroon. So Cameroon is like Canada, but in the reverse. So it's 80% French speaking and 20% English speaking. So I'm from the 20% English speaking side. And because of that, some of the towns have like a different culture. So from where I am, from Bamenda, the culture there is like called tradition mixed with the English aspects of things. So the way we cook, our education is even different and stuff like that. We have different traditional meals. We like to celebrate culture and all whatnot. That will be different from Yaoundé, which is where I was born. My dad is a teacher at the university. So I was born in Yaoundé, which is predominantly more of the French-speaking side. And you notice because of the French influence, it's a little bit different, a little bit more liberal. Even their food and their culture is it's somehow different. But all in all, if you go to Cameroon, you're gonna have an amazing time. I think the best nightclubs. Trust me, I've gone to the Middle East, I've gone to the USA, I'm in Canada. The best nightclubs are in Cameroon because it's like we enjoy best of both worlds. We have the French culture, so we enjoy French music from zouk to the Congolese music, coupé décalé, to French Caribbean slows. We enjoy that side. And then we have the English side where we enjoy the Afrobeats from Nigeria, from Ghana. We can enjoy the pop music from other parts of the world. So it's like best of both worlds where you can have all this fusion brought together in one place. So you will definitely enjoy the food and the nightlife in Cameroon.
Okay. Well, listen, I can't wait for your book to come out. I know some people from my fans, after they listen to this interview, they will be on pins and needles waiting for your book to come out. So I want to thank you for taking the time to come on Jump to explain your beautiful country, what's happening, and for us to, open our eyes and try to get some more information about what's happening.
Thank you so much, Charles. I really appreciate this initiative to talk about my books. And hopefully when my website is up and running, I'm going to let you know, and your fans can be able to go purchase books to read either to their kids or to read as a family. And if people have any questions they want to know further, they will be able to reach out to me, and hopefully I can be able to give them more knowledge on anything from Africa.
All right. Now listen, fans, it's all about jumping. And the reason I wanted to bring her on is she didn't just stay still. She knew there was a need out there. She knew that her culture needed to be showcased. So what she do? She jumped into action, and now she's showing the world how beautiful her place is. So it doesn't have to be something for business. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneur thing. Sometimes when I say jump, I mean jump into action. This lovely lady, she didn't hesitate. She jumped. So we'll see you next time on the Jump Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you liked the show or have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Join our mailing list, and as always, check out our special deals links below. I hope this has inspired you to look at your life and jump. See you next week.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, It's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.